All right, so we're back with class 8, and I think this is video 4. It should be the last one. We're going to do the inverted version number 3 of the slider crank, and I didn't have a summary like I did in the other videos, so we're really just going to go from this one and take a look at that setup and come down to the specifics. I think it's this guy. Yes. Okay. So there's the inverted slider crank. Should be inverted crank slider. I don't know if I've copied what they say in the book or what the phrasing they use in the book, but it's because the crank we probably wouldn't input with this with the position here of the thing. We would probably move the crank to a spot. All right, so here is the breakdown of equations. This is also assuming that theta 1 is equal to 0, so that was already plugged into there. So the input is theta 2, so this should be a inverted crank slider. And the variables, the things we don't know, are this distance b, because this piece right here slides onto this. So you can see the other end of this could extend out longer or shorter as this thing moves, because b is getting, the effective length of b is getting shorter. Theta 3 and theta 4 are both unknown, but they are related to each other by this fixed angle gamma, which is created by the angle that is established with the collar to link 4. You can see these little fillets there, kind of like establishing, like, okay, this thing is stuck in place. It looks like it's 90, but it doesn't have to be 90. In the example we're about to do, it is 90, so spoiler alert. So what you could do from this up above, because you know some of these things, you could have solved for b, but you don't know theta 4 or theta 3. So, but let's put this from the second equation. This is for the y component. Put that into the x component. Boom. So we put that in there. We also manipulate a little bit the theta 3 using this relationship. And we're able to get this equation, P, Q, and R, related to sine theta 4 and cosine theta 4. We still aren't out of the woods yet. We still have to try to get those theta 4s, but we're able to get rid of theta 3. And here were the three variables here, P, Q, and R. And notably, because theta 2 is known, all of these are constants, right? So all P, Q, and R are constants. It's good news. And then to solve this, we still need the half angle identities and do the same scheme that we had before. Because the theta 4 is stuck inside the sine and the cosine, we can't just simply pull them out. But this will help us. So we swap them out and then we distribute. And this is a quadratic, again, quadratic of tangent squared and tangent, and then just a constant. So just to clean it up just ever so slightly to make the quadratic not look so ugly, because we have multiple variables in there. So that's what we've done here. Once we get the S, T, and U, we can go to the quadratic equation now. And we have two possible solutions for one, for theta 4, 1 and 2. So here is an example. They don't have an explicit example in the textbook, so I just picked the main problem in the back of the chapter that deals with this scenario, and that's row A. So here are the distances. I think these are inches. They would make more sense if they were inches than anything else. Theta 2 is 30 degrees, and gamma is 90 degrees. So we could, so it ends up we could draw these things. So we go through the equations for this, the P, Q, and the R to get these values, and then we get the S, T, and U. So the S, T, and U are the ones that go into the quadratic equation. Here's the positive one. I get 142.7. Here's the, and then if I plug it back into, well, to get a theta 3, we know we have this relationship with theta 4. We can go back to this B that we had at one of the very first equations we had. Plug them in and get 1.793 is what we were predicting. Do the same thing with the minus now that we did with the plus up above. I should always use the laser. So we had the plus up above, we have the minus now. We come up with a negative 169, and doing the same thing we had up above. I don't know if I need to do that 180. I believe I do, but I need to look back at that, check and see why I knew that I needed it. But here's our B, and putting it in there, and we end up getting the same number right there. And I think that's going to probably be the case each time, or it could just because we use 90 up above. I don't know. So just be on the look, and let's just make an observation. See if you end up with the same number. So here is a diagram of those results. You know, I got the 6 as the ground, and a 2 is the crank at 30 degrees. And then I made this 4, and it ended up flopping over. And then I also made this 90, and you can see these agree, right? That number agrees with the length. This number also agrees with the length. And then the angles that I needed. You know, one was going to be theta 4. And I'm looking for theta 3 here. So do I have the? I guess it was going to come out anyway. So maybe I didn't bother writing down what theta 3 was going to be. But it would be measured, I believe, from up here, and would come around that way, right there. So anyway, here is the Excel, and I've provided that to you in Canvas as well. So you can double check your values. And that is all for class number 8. Exciting. See you soon.